Do you have a practice? What do I mean when I ask that question? When I ask that question myself, when I ask others, what I mean is the difference between practicing and being a practitioner. We're practicing various things as if we have some kind of a stable platform, me, which doesn't really exist. And then that me is choosing properly, by proper decision making, the practices that one engages with. It's not really the truth. And most of the time, those practices are being chosen by just weaknesses or luck, aversion, addictions, etc. Being a practitioner and having a practice is something that is often challenged and exposed when shit hits the fan. So if somebody loses motivation or has a lack of energy or disease or injuries, the people who are usually just practicing immediately change their practices by this new outside scenario, seemingly, outside. So if they lack the energy, they're going to stay home instead of going out to practice. If they lose the motivation to do one thing, they look for what else is motivating them to do. But the practitioner takes a different approach. He does not assume that he's in a stable spot as that person. He does not rely on the likes and dislikes alone, but he empowers the practice and creates within him the practitioner, that stable platform from which he can become and be whoever he wants to be. And that is something beautiful, something very powerful. So if I lose the motivation, which I've lost many times, motivation to do this or that, I find it again. I rekindle it. I look for the right sources. I surround myself with people who are motivating me. I study. I look to my teachers. I don't give up. I don't change my practice. If I lose the energy and I lack the energy, which we all, at a certain point in life, we're going to meet that issue, I research how do I find that energy again, that physical energy through modifications in lifestyle, or also the psychological energy, the mental energy. And of course, I don't mean that I don't respect those changing scenarios like aging or losing motivation or being depressed. That should definitely be respected, but it shouldn't be also too respected. Because if we do that, we end up losing a lot of things because of temporary outside conditions that are not really that important, but we put too much importance in them. That's who I am. That's not who you are. It's like a bird passing in the sky, common analogy. You watch it, but you're not becoming it. So certain emotions come over, certain conditions come over, and you can watch them and you can keep on practicing. I think this is the greatest gift I can give people, and it's the one thing that I most appreciate in people. A lot of times people appreciate someone who is nice to them, or someone who is fast or strong or beautiful, but those things are really not up to that person most of the times. They're a result of being born to the right parents. Yeah, they're also results of choices, but they're not as much as the result of choices as the choice itself. But to be that person, that practitioner, as some students that I have, that pass through many, many ups and downs and diseases and injuries and changes of life and have children and all kinds of conditions. And yet there is something inside of them so stable. They're not controlled by all these changes and fluctuations. That's powerful, that's beautiful, that's what I want to give myself, that's what I'm working with myself all the time, reminding myself. And I think it's something for us to meditate on. Kiss your eyes.